You can't handle the truth.
What a gift, don't you think, from Mr. Wallace to the world?
Well, it's nice to see you too.
Obi-Wan, we meet again at last.
Eddie, is there anything you can't do?
Hello, I'm Tyler Smith, and this is Rediscover Movies. I apologize for the delay between episodes and the fact that we're in a different space than usual. What with the holidays and people like my cameraman being out of town, and then general holiday illness, this was the best we could do. But we're here, and we're going to talk about House of Gucci, directed by Ridley Scott. So, if there's two things that we are fascinated with in this country, it is wealth and scandal, and House of Gucci has plenty of both as it tells the true story of the downfall of the Gucci family. At the beginning of the film, the family is powerful, influential, and of course, extremely wealthy. By the end, however, the family has completely broken apart due to greed, betrayal, and eventually murder. It's a fascinating and sometimes heartbreaking story, but unfortunately the film is much more interested in the tabloid nature of things than anything more worthwhile. Many of the characters are treated as over-the-top stereotypes who deserve what's coming to them. It's a stellar cast. It's great. It's Lady Gaga and Adam Driver and Al Pacino and Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, a really great cast. And they do what they can to ground the characters, but there's no denying that the director, Ridley Scott, is very clearly judging these people and has no sympathy for them at all, and he treats their downfall as basically comedic. The film is primarily a comedy. Of course, anything can be funny, including a story that involves premeditated murder, but it requires much more restrained choices than Ridley Scott is willing to make here. Ridley Scott has made many of my favorite films. Alien is one of my 10 favorite movies of all time, and I'm a big fan of the original Blade Runner. But I've never considered Ridley Scott a comedic director, and when you see this film, you understand why. A really great, incisive comedy should be sharp and precise, like a knife or a scalpel, and this film is just a sledgehammer. It's a good-looking movie, as most Ridley Scott movies are, and the actors really do try and do what they can to bring humanity to these characters who would otherwise be two-dimensional. None of the performances are particularly bad, but I would single out Al Pacino, I think, he manages to create sympathy for a character who, if you just look at the character on paper, easily could have been just a cartoon. Despite all of that, I would definitely not recommend House of Gucci. It may look great on the outside, but it is pretty empty on the inside. And what is there is judgmental, condescending, and ultimately pretty ugly. But if you are interested in films about the darker side of wealth, I would highly recommend Billy Wilder's 1950 Sunset Boulevard. In it, a cynical young screenwriter gets tangled in the web of a wealthy, washed-up silent film star. The script is brilliant, devastating, and a little bit absurd. It is actually often quite funny. Billy Wilder was just that kind of director that even his dramas could occasionally be kind of funny. It's genuinely one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion, and it is available right here on Rediscover Television. So if you haven't seen it, drop everything and check it out right now, because you'll be glad you did. So that's our review of House of Gucci. Did not care for it, but maybe we'll like the next one. Who knows? But in the meantime, I'm Tyler Smith. Thank you so much for watching.